Streets, Traffic, and Refuge Committee will be called to order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Moore. Alderman Murphy.
Here.
Alderman Kotor.
Here.
Alderman Martin.
Here.
Alderwoman Pam Boyd. Alderman Bosley. Alderwoman Middlebrook.
Present.
You have 4 present. Chairman Boyd.
Thank you, President.
You have 5 present. You have a quorum.
Okay, I haven't heard from any of the aldermen. I'm excused.
You need to get a vote before she left out.
Yes, I did.
Did she? Where's she going?
Maybe
She's on
she's
the
got
other
a bill in the other one too. See, that's what happens when we do 2 things at the same time. She's got a bill.
Really stagger it a little bit.
We need to get a vote on record.
See, they need me over there too to do the same thing. 'cause they have zero quorum.
Okay.
They're ashamed.
Sorry, Alderwoman, we actually need you for a vote. Alderman Cone, can you shut that door for me? Thank you.
Anything for you, Chairman.
Appreciate that. Okay, we're gonna move to approval of the minutes. I'll entertain a motion on approval of the minutes from Wednesday, June 5th.
I move that we approve the minutes from Wednesday, June 5th, Streets Committee meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Moore. Alderwoman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Kotor.
Aye.
Alderwoman Martin.
Aye.
Alderwoman Pam Boyd. Alderman Bosley. Alderwoman Middlebrook.
Aye.
Chairman Boyd.
Aye.
You have 5 votes.
Okay, thank you. So next order of business, board bills for review. We have board bill number 75, sponsored by myself, will be presented by Kent Flake, Street Commissioner.
Well, good morning, Alderman.
Good morning.
This is the St. Louis Works Board bill. It's been the same for many years. About the only thing in here that changes is the dollar amount appropriated. This is based off half-cent utility tax, some monies that come through Department of Revenue for vehicle licensure, and a couple other little small things. But this year's budget is $5.3 million. There should be an attachment. It should be page 5, I think.
Yeah.
And that is a general breakdown of the way these funds are to be expended as proposed in Board Bill 75. Long story short, this gives each board about $96,000 to use as they wish in the right of way. Typically, this goes towards paving, sidewalk repair, 50/50 program, some street trees occasionally, and just other normal repairs that would be done in the right of way. This year's a little different than most because this board bill is about 3 months later than usual. And the last 28 attachments are where, when we sat through capital improvement meetings, is where the aldermen either decided where they wanted to put that money or did not decide where they wanted to put that money. Some of it isn't spent completely, but let's look at Ward 2, kind of gives you a brief rundown. There's 2 streets that are going to be paved out of that $96,000, and for a total of $66,000, and there's $30,000 for 50/50 sidewalk repair, totaling $96,000. It's kind of the general synopsis of what that attachment looks like. Some aldermen were not available for our capital meetings, so there still shows $96,000, but it doesn't show it being put towards any projects. That's pretty much the only changes versus previous years.
Okay, Kent, 100% of the money is not going toward capital expenses. So would you go ahead and explain the first attachment? Because, you know, some of the money is going toward personnel. How many employees are being paid out of this? Are we buying any materials for asphalt or anything like that? So out of the 5.3 million, how much is, again, how much is actually going toward more capital expenses and how much is going toward personnel and other?
Give me just a second. So approximately let's not say approximately, 2.688, or 2,688,000 is going to directly materials and into the wards. You see that in the 514, 5252 account, and you see that in the 510, 5652 account. The 514, that 1.5 million, that's was the estimate to go straight to asphalt material. The 1,188,000 is directly to 50/50 contracts. So 2.688 is right at about 50%.
Who's handling the 50/50 sidewalk program right now?
Okay, it's 51%. That's TJ Menden, Anthony Menden.
Okay,
He's been with us for 2 years now.
can you provide each alderman with a report on how much money they put into it the past several years? Let's go back 3 years. How much money they put into 50/50 sidewalk for the past 3 years and how much match came back? Because some aldermen are concerned that they're not getting their match back. They just keep putting money in every year, the same, let's say, I know I put in like $40,000 or $50,000 for several years in a row. But I'm not sure how much I actually got back. We just kind of just take the word of the street department, they need X amount, and we say, okay. But I think it's worth noting how much money we actually collecting back on the 50/50. Because in theory, if we put $20,000 out there, and there's a 50% match, the next year if we put 20,000, we should really have 30,000 because we got 10 back from the previous year. So I would like to have a report over the past 3 years, how much each ward has allocated and how much has come back.
I can certainly provide that. This has came up many times in the past, because I used to run the 50/50 program for 5 years probably. And should probably be called the 80/20 program, for the simple fact that anytime there's tree root damage, you don't get anything back. Probably 50%, probably closer to 75% are tree root damage only. Homeowners only pay for flat work. So if there's curb work that needs to be done, if there's a wheelchair ramp that needs to be upgraded on a corner, you're not getting 50% back on that. So it only goes for properties that actually sign their letter, send it back to us, and we're doing more than tree root damage. But I will certainly provide that for you. And like I said, it's probably closer to 10 to 20% revenue coming back. And that's also over, they have 11 months to pay that from the time we bill. So you may not see that money for 14, 16, 18 months. And that's assuming that they actually pay.
Right. Well, some of us have been here more than one term, so it'd be curious to see how much money is rolling back. Because even if it was 20%, still there should be some residual income, residual revenue from the previous year.
Absolutely.
Whether it's $1,000 or whatever. But it'd be good for aldermen to know that as well, that, you know, even though you put $20,000, we only truly did a match with $5,000 because the rest of it was other type of damage.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and open up for questions. Alderwoman Murphy.
Yes, I know I've done it with the 50/50. Sometimes I'll eat more of that. For a home, I've had a home on a Premier Street on Corner, and their bill was, $1,200, and I ate more of that for that homeowner because it was a big corner in a Premier Street by a, a church, so I understand that. My question is, if aldermen don't put any money in to this account, do they still get streets and sidewalks paved?
If they-
Because I'm wondering, I see sometimes that aldermen don't put any money into, like just in this case, 50/50 or whatever. And I just want to know, does they still get sidewalks and streets in it?
Either capital or St. Louis, if they don't put capital or St. Louis Works money in, they do not.
Okay, I just wanted to know. Thank you, that's all.
Okay, Alderman Coler.
Real quick, along those lines, Kent, so if our colleagues don't appropriate their $96,000, what account, I'm assuming that money just sits in an account?
It sits in my,
It's just in one of your,
typically,
is that
the sidewalk money always goes somewhere.
Well, but if it's just a straight 96,000, we have a number of
Yep.
aldermen that I see didn't appropriate that. You know, like if I don't appropriate all my ward capital, it sits in my 900, I can transfer it later. Where does the money sit if
Yep.
it's not allocated from St. Louis
It
Works?
typically, because with the budget, I have to put it as in a placeholder. Either the 5252 and 514, or the 5652 and 510.
Okay, so you put in those 510 and those 514 accounts?
Yep, the 1.188 million and the 1.5 million accounts.
Oh,
that's
I
where it
see, those are
goes.
those other numbers. Okay.
That's where it goes. I don't think there's anybody in this room that's ever seen this, but when I hand out the capital St. Louis Works paving sheets for paving proposals, if you're one of those aldermen, down at the bottom it says you have $275,000 in St. Louis Works that has not been appropriated. So you have a balance sitting there, and I think we have several of those.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
I
my
think we
question.
do. I know we
yeah. Appreciate you giving us this breakdown. Otherwise, I just wanted to compliment you and Zach for the work you've done. I know I've had a lot of people knocking on my door, literally, asking about 50/50 program lately. You guys have been very helpful getting people on the list and even bumping them up to this year, so thank you for that. I know that's a program that residents really do love and are taking full advantage of, and I'm glad to see that.
It's kind of a disease, because I had a neighbor on my block that did it probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago, before I was even part of the sidewalk program. And from there, it just went that one house did it, then 4 houses did it, then 12 houses did it.
Right.
And then everybody on the block in the neighborhood did it.
Yeah, I mean, I know I'm spending, with 7th Ward dollars, well over $100,000 on sidewalks annually. But hey, you know what? It makes it more walkable, and if that's what people want, great.
Yeah.
Nothing further.
Okay, Alderman Martin.
Alderman Coder asked my question, but again, I want to pick on what he said. Zach's been great, and I really appreciate, you guys are always really quick to respond and work with me, so that's it.
Can you give me a balance sheet of every ward St. Louis Works?
Unexpended, or not,
Yeah.
not encumbered, or not set towards a
Unexpended
project?
balance.
See now.
Yeah, unencumbered funds for each ward. Just a one-pager. Also, this may not be for you, it may be for the comptroller. So if an alderperson has, let's say, 3 years' worth of St. Louis Works money they just haven't spent for whatever reason, is that money drawing interest somewhere? And does that interest come back to that particular ward, or does it go in some general pot and the street department uses it, or somebody else uses it? How does that work? Do you have any
As
idea?
far as I know, it doesn't accrue any interest. If it does, it doesn't accrue interest in my accounts, and that's probably one reason it wouldn't, because it's sitting in 514 accounts instead of sitting in something that probably draw interest. I'm definitely not the person to ask about that, though. That's just my general guess, I guess.
Okay. I think that's it. It's a pretty straightforward bill. I know, I certainly appreciate all the hard work the street department does. They have a tough task. I know with the flood going on, we didn't get the service in our neighborhood that we were looking for, but we have to prioritize delivery of services. So I understand and I respect that. How are we doing, speaking of that, on floods? Or are you guys still doing overtime with that? Or are people being released back to, in the wards doing projects, or where are we?
We came back to normal as of yesterday.
Okay.
And everybody's very appreciative of that, because most everybody works somewhere between 200 and 240 hours over the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So yes, we're finally getting back to actual work, to actually fixing CSBs, to fixing utility cuts. It's been a rough year for us. I mean, we had one of the worst winters in St. Louis history, then we've been off and on flooding since the middle of March. Then 4 weeks ago, we've started heading towards the second historic flood in St. Louis history. So it's been a rough year. We're kind of wanting to just settle down and do some paving and do some sidewalks, because we're pretty good at that. So.
There you go.
Zach might be going on vacation again soon then, huh? Okay, I'll entertain a motion on Board Bill 75.
I move that we adopt Board Bill 75 with a due pass recommendation.
Second?
Is that moving second?
Request for previous roll.
Hearing no objection to previous roll, Board Bill 75 comes out of committee with due pass recommendation. Thank you. We will call the Streets, Track, and Refuge Committee adjourned.
Excellent.
Thanks, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Since I have you.